Hello sweet friend, my name is Micah, and in this video I would like to share with you my July journal pages. It's been a month since I moved from the Hobonichi Cousin into the Traveler's Notebook as my main journal system for memory keeping and creative pages. And so I thought it would be fun to take a little peekaloo at the pages I've created so far and also chat about how this setup is working out for me. As you can see, my notebook looks a little bare right now, and that is because it's under construction. I am still in the process of making this little cat charm that I want to have on the elastic, and so yeah, I haven't put the elastic back on. I do like how easy it is to access my inserts without the closure, but then again, I love little doohickeys and little decorations and personalizations so much that I think the elastic is going back on just purely for the decorative purposes. I think that's allowed, yeah. As for my setup, I have two inserts in here. The undated vertical weekly and the blank notebook that came with this cover. And if you're new here, the weeklies for me are a way to pull out weekly highlights. So some of these things will be also reflected in my daily pages, but I like just how putting it all together for a week really shows you a larger chunk of time, of course, because it's weekly. And there's just something about putting these things together and being able to then quickly flip through your year like this. I just find that really appealing. That's, I think, my main takeaway from this year, from all of the journal explorations that I've done, is how pleasant I find weekly memory keeping. And this was a journal with me video, so I won't go too far into this. I just still think this is my favorite weekly spread so far. There's just something about the color palette that I think turned out quite nice. I got most of that for free because the elements in and of themselves just really corresponded with each other. So yeah, lucky there. This was also a journal with me video. Here I just want to note it was really fun to end up with all of these big flower stickers. I don't know, it's a really unique look, I feel like. It has definitely a 70s vibe, which might also be attributed to the color palette and even the moth having some of these 70s colors. So yeah, really fun. And then this I did off camera. Here I tried something new with the numbers because these weeks have shown me that I don't really have a fun way of lettering big numbers. So I went onto Pinterest and just looked a couple things up. And yeah, this was really fun. Again, with a 70s vibe to them. Just how chunky and curvy they are. Really cool. And something that I've noticed is happening more frequently now with my weekly pages, which is that I tend to pull out 4 to 5 things and just have them stacked as these bigger blocks on the page. Yeah, I'm gonna see if that is just how I want to do these things or if I want to try out some different layouts. But so far that's been how they're coming out. I've also been feeling really drawn to this color palette of this soft minty blue green combined with this yummy apricot beige. Yeah, I just think it's really refreshing for summer, and it's still quite sweet. A lot of times we associate summer with obviously the brighter and bolder colors, but yeah, it can still have a sweet look to it, I feel like. And big highlight that week was that we were welcoming a new baby niece. So my sister had her second baby, so yeah, that was definitely a highlight there. And I've been wanting to use this sticker that I created for Cat Collage Club ever since I created this, which is like months ago now, because I think the pram is so cute. And so finally I was able to put it somewhere. And these wonderful flowers are by Erin Ware from her Patreon, as is the mug. So yeah, super fun. And then again, new numbers, also with a 70s inspiration, I would say. especially since I gave them this orangey red or reddish orange. This is Sailor Afternoon Tea, if you're interested in fountain pen inks. I think this isn't so successful with the coloring because it just looks like a long string of a number because they're so big and they run into each other. And yeah, they're calling quite a lot of attention to themselves because of the color, but it's fine. It's just, I don't think I would do that again like this. And then, yeah, here I want to point out, I think the speech bubble is quite fun how this turned out. Just painting around the speech bubble and having the negative space form the speech bubble. It's really soft and it's a fun way to use your watercolors in your journal. So yeah, finished another book. We're having another baby photo. There's going to be quite a bit of that probably coming up here. Another new fountain pen. Yeah, that's that. And then technically July is going until this Friday there, but haven't had time yet to tackle this page. So yeah, we have most of July covered. And so yeah, this has been going really, really well. I already loved it in the Hobonichi Cousin, and I think I love it even more in here just simply because of the cream Midori paper and the format. It being a little slimmer is definitely not a downside for me in terms of how much I would want to put into these pages anyway. So yeah, really, really excited for this insert. And then here we go with the other pages. And yeah, really think this turned out quite sweet with the little cat and her bike. And for July, I used 20 pages, and obviously July has 31 days, so I didn't really use a page per day, but that is something that I anticipated, and I'm actually quite surprised that I did end up using 20 pages. I thought it might be a little less, but not that the page count has anything to do with anything, but yeah, I was quite interested to see, coming from more of a rigorous daily journaling setup, how that would translate. So yeah, but even just this opening spread here for the 1st of July, I was happy to be able to use 2 pages because this year I've been really enjoying journaling about the printable collection that I always release on the 1st for Cat Collage Club, because yeah, the drawings hold so much memory for me because I obviously work on them during the month and put a lot of time into them. So yeah, there's sometimes little snippets encoded even in the drawings. And yeah, I just think I like knowing what I worked on this year. And so yeah, I've been dedicating quite a bit of space to that ever since January. But I was also able to write some other things about the 1st of July. For example, that my husband and I went on a walk. So yeah, it was nice to be able to even have some space for some stickering and collaging, but also doing a drawing and doing some other writing. So yeah, really, really nice. I quite like how this color palette turned out just for a summery walk, keeping it quite minimal there. And that's another main thing that I've already noticed is how much I'm now enjoying just playing around with my fountain pens and my inks. That was one of the main things anyway, from going from the Hobonichi into the Traveler's Notebook or anything with Midori paper, really, is just feeling like I can know for sure that the paper will handle the pens. Similarly here, again, playing around with a limited color palette and also playing around with these little cat characters. I love them quite a lot. I've noticed that I think I love them so much because I think of cats as little people. They're so curious and they get into things and they have their own little thoughts and characters. And so, yeah, I liked imagining them helping me making this green smoothie recipe and putting the honey into into the smoothie and bringing me the baby spinach and wondering what this is, which of course is a ginger root, but I can relate. It does look kind of weird, so you one is allowed to wonder what that thing is. And yeah, it's just ink and a little bit of colored pencil there. Yeah, quite fun. Yeah, my husband and I have been looking for a good go-to green smoothie. We had one before, but it was a little too complicated with certain items that we don't necessarily always have on hand. So yeah, we settled on this one. And then just a list of certain books that I want to read next, with a little illustration there with some watercolor. Yeah, in case you're in the mood for some new reads there. This is what's on my list. Yeah, and then had a sunny walk that day in the park. I presume that other states have that too, but here in Kentucky, around where I live, they're doing this initiative called Bringing Back the Bluegrass, where they dedicate certain spaces to local trees and local plants and flowers. And this park where I had the walk did that, and they had quite a few little information signs, so it was quite fun to read about the different species and things like that. You will also notice that I'm playing around with how I want to put the dates on these, and some pages don't even have dates. So I quite a bit did this kind of format where I drew out this frame and then put the numbers in, and then here I went without the frame but bigger numbers. It's just a little bit more work in drawing out the numbers because I don't have that memorized yet, but I kind of like that look. I think this is maybe my favorite way. Also, these first couple pages seem a little bit more hesitant, if that's even the right word. I don't know if you have noticed something similar when you start a new notebook or even start a new format. And even though I've worked in the Traveler's Notebook before, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to really know what you like and what you don't like, and just get into the groove, I guess. Yeah, here was a new pen day. Got the Benu Milk&Honey. Benu kindly sent that to me for free, and so I journaled with it and drew this cat with it, and the ink is quite sweet too. This is a Tono and Limbs Dear Bear, which is sort of an amber honey yellow, and quite readable. I think that's a really nice yellow to journal with. And then yeah, that was the day that I tried to save this moth and went on a rescue mission, which was unfortunately not successful, and it made me realize just how much I miss having pets because I got so attached to this little moth. Yeah. And then just photos from my bigger niece. I gave her my baby dolls to play with, so that's her sitting on the box with the dolls in it. And here she's first time in a kiddie pool. Quite fun. And I got some new ink, and here, this is another really good example of why this paper is winning over the Hobonichi paper this year. I used my dip nib to get a better understanding of the ink, and I love drawing with my Kakimori brass nib because it dumps so much ink on the page that you can really get a lot of shading, a lot of texture in the ink, and just see it in all its glory. And yeah, this paper can handle it. Super fun. Quite liked that. And yeah, finally, just a little bit, breaking out of the very straight and very minimal sort of page layout and just putting this big piece of packaging in here. I just really enjoy this purple color with the red lettering, and not lettering, the typography, and I just enjoy the typography so much too. Yeah, that was a really good Sunday. It was just having a FaceTime call with my brother and his girlfriend and making Jell-O chocolate pudding and working on my comic. Just, yeah, it was really, really pleasant. This day, my husband and I, my dear husband, braved with me going into a cigar shop. And I hope me showing these doesn't, I'm not wanting to make advertisement for tobacco, but my grandmother used to have a set of colored pencil for us in a tobacco box. And so I've been meaning to go to a cigar shop and see if they had any boxes. And they did. And I want to use them for stationery storage because look how cute these are. Aren't they so good? And yeah, you can get them really cheap. I think they had them in the store that we went to for $2 to $3 a box. But he actually ended up giving them to me for free, so that was really nice. I will try to take off all the stickers and maybe color over the direct mentions of tobacco. I obviously can't do anything about this, but yeah, I think it's really fun. So if you're looking for cheap, storage, I was even thinking with this one, because it's so wide and quite shallow, I could put some lining in here and have some pencils or some even store fountain pens in here if I cushion it out. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, cigar boxes. But yeah, we weren't in there for very long. We seemed so out of place, my husband and I. But we weren't in there very long. But yeah, our clothes definitely needed to get washed afterwards. Yeah, so there's that. And then, yeah, another just drawing exploration. And this is also a good example of how nice it can be to have 2 pages in a row to dedicate to something. I'd been wanting to make this recipe, the onigiratsu, which I'm pronouncing incorrectly, I'm sure, for a while. And so I'd been saving this avocado and waiting for it to get ripe for, I think, over a week. It took forever. And I all of a sudden realized that there's this dance with avocados where you really want to make sure that you get the timing right, because 1 or 2 days off and you're either cutting into an unripe avocado that doesn't taste like anything, or you waited too long and it's all gross. But yeah, I got it right this time, and so it was perfect. Yeah, I like thinking of little comics like this, and I don't do it enough because it sometimes also takes quite a bit longer than any other way of journaling, but fun nonetheless whenever I do them. Yeah, and so here's then the recipes that I tried. So the onigiratsu, which you can, if you're unfamiliar with it, you can think of this as a sushi sandwich. So you have sushi rice, cucumbers, then this is a tuna, almost like a tuna salad mixture. But you can do all kinds of things. You can also put in tofu or whatever you like. And then I had so much sushi rice left over that I also made some rice balls. So sushi rice with canned salmon and some nori sheets crinkled up or cut up. Or you could use other seaweed, dried seaweed. Yeah, so there was those. So it's just some cooking adventures. Yeah, this was the day my niece was born, and she has the cutest face with the most squishable cheeks. So it's unfortunate that I had to cover up her face, but the internet is weird, so better safe than sorry. And I drew this card for them, and my husband and I sent that to them with this ladybug family that welcomed their new baby too. And with this, I channeled one of my favorite illustrators called Fritz Baumgarten. And so I actually journaled about that here as well, just making the process of making this. And sometimes when I know that I have a lot of text that I want to have on the page, I really enjoy just making borders like this because it brings a lot of color and decoration to the page without being overly not taking too much space away from the writing. So just a fun, easy way of doing this. And these kinds of borders I was introduced to by Erin Ware. She does them a lot. And then another book that I finished, Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. And here I could have used another spread to talk about the book, but I had already started decorating this page right here, so that wasn't smart. I shouldn't be doing that. And this is a good example of something else I like to do, is this setting up these kind of almost surrealist landscapes or little scenes with the cats with flowers that are technically way too big, but I don't know. I still kind of like the look of it, especially with the combination of this flower washi as the ground. Yeah, I like things like that. Playing dollhouse diorama things with stickers. This is just a page where I was reflecting on. I've been making some changes to my morning routine, and I'm already feeling the effects of it, which is really, really good. So leaving technology out of the first, I don't know, hour in the day, and just starting my day with drawing has been really, really nice. So yeah, writing about that. And then here we just have a big quote page, which was quite fun. I came across this quote and it really spoke to some of the things that I've been noticing this month, of just small steps that I've taken since the beginning of the year. And I'm starting to feel the cumulative effect of them, and starting to feel a lot of momentum in certain projects and certain things. So that's been feeling really, really nice. So yeah, that was just a serendipitous coming across a quote. And I don't know if you can read that very well, because it is going, I can't recommend that. Like, that's really hard to write over the bump. But yeah, I had a lot of fun creating this sticker frame. These designs were in the June printables for Cat Collage Club, which were inspired by the fact that I do like drawing these kinds of borders. And so yeah, it was nice to create another border with the stickers. And then I don't know how much you can see that, but there's some watercolor spritzers or splashes to break it up a little bit. Yeah, quite fun. And then here's another one of those big flowers with the cat kind of setups. I was just journaling about how I've noticed how much having every house have AC in the States, and how much you use your car to get to places, how much more detached, I guess, I feel from the seasons and from the weather. And sometimes that's nice because you don't have to go through the heat or through the snow. But yeah, it is kind of weird how now every season feels more and more like the previous or the next season. And I kind of miss being more exposed to the seasons. Yeah. But anyway, and yeah, and then I decided to do a little July review because I felt like there's been lots going on this month. And so to recap and think through, even myself revisiting some of these pages and seeing what exactly was going on was quite nice. And then I did some more of that spritzing of the watercolor, because I felt like, yeah, it was a little too stark for me. And yeah, I've just been really getting back into the spritzy watercolor. And then we are in August. Yeah, I really like how this introduction to August turned out as well, with the sunflower drawings. Going over both the pages to connect them. But that is for the August flip through, maybe. So yeah, I'm not regretting at all in switching to this. I am thinking that, yeah, I'll definitely be able to fit August in here, and then maybe a little bit of September. I don't know. Part of me thinks that maybe my brain would like it better if the getting into a new insert would correspond with a new month. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much of that I want to force. So we'll just see. So far, I'm very happy with how this is going. Something that I don't enjoy is the clipping the book open. So I've already been thinking that maybe once this is full, instead of going with these smaller inserts, that I might just get a A5 Midori notebook. Those lay flat, and just get it chopped into the TN size and just have the bigger notebook in here that lays flat. And then, yeah, but I'll see about that once we get to it. Let me know, how is your journaling going? Have you done any changes? Are you getting swept up in planner season right now? And do you have a favorite spread from this flip through? And if you do have any questions or would like me to go more in depth about any of these things, let me know also. Other than that, thank you so much for sharing this time with me, and until next time, happy journaling!